Hello people, and welcome to the Mindfulness Garden. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time today inviting you to think about how you can use mindfulness, and in particular this part is about nature connection. And try to bring nature connection in short exercises to you through these videos. So today I am here with a beautiful cherry flower, cherry blossom, or with a bunch of cherry blossom. So the idea of today's exercise is finding something outside that appeals to you. So noticing something. And taking some time to observe it. So having a really good look, perhaps a much closer look than you might otherwise. And start to notice the colours. So these are white flowers, but can you see other colours in them? The petals are white, but there's other colours on the stamens and the stigma. And even the white is made up of other different colours. And if you have a flower in front of you, so one of the invitations is to go outside into your yard or garden, or if you're having a daily walk, and to pick a flower. Make sure it's something that you are supposed to pick. I mean, if you're in a park, a dandelion or a daisy would work just as well. In fact, they have numerous petals and lots of interesting colours. So pick a flower and observe it, and notice the textures, the colours, the shapes. And it's also an opportunity to notice your own, thoughts and feelings as they come and go. And like the colours and the textures and the aromas maybe, allow your thoughts to just be. They are what they are. Allow them to just be, and allow them to just come and go. And you don't need to strain to do this exercise. It's simple observation. And one of the beauties of allowing yourself to engage with the senses is, again, you can just let them be. And nature is really helpful for that. So allowing whatever you're observing to just be, and allowing any of your thoughts and feelings as they arise, allowing them to just be. So I'm actually in my yard today. I did do a short video at the farm, and unfortunately my battery was a bit too low and the light went. So I invite you, as part of a daily practice, to observe something that catches your eye, or if an aroma catches your sense, just allow yourself to notice it and let it be. And if you can do that with your thoughts and feelings, then that's also very useful. So I invite you to bring a flower into the house and to observe it, and to have it there as a reminder to engage with this practice over the next week. And I'm also encouraging people to use this time to maybe express some of the thoughts and feelings. So perhaps having a journal with you is useful. perhaps having a sketchbook for drawing or painting, or perhaps you have other ways of expressing yourself. So you might find those things are a useful thing to do alongside the nature connection and the mindfulness. So I think for now I'm just going to take a minute and I'm going to observe the real life flower whilst I continue to film this. And if you take a moment to observe as well. So one of the things that I find really interesting is how natural patterns were used to develop EMDR. So eye movement desensitization reprogramming. It's a bit of a mouthful, but it is basically a therapy that's used for treating people with trauma. And the woman who discovered it when she was walking outside in nature. And what she noticed was how, as she was walking, her thoughts were easing and she was feeling more relaxed, and her eyes were darting around gently over the different shapes as she walked. And what she realised was, as her eyes moved around over these different shapes and patterns, she was actually creating new neural pathways in her brain, which I guess was later studied to show that that was the case. And this became EMDR, or it was the foundation of EMDR. What's funny and interesting to me is that on the whole, EMDR is practiced indoors, but the original basis for it was outdoors on a walk. So there is a lot of evidence now to show that natural patterns, natural shapes help our brains. Being outdoors, even just seeing green, helps to lower cortisol. Being outdoors helps to raise our endorphins. It's the same effect we have from exercise. So if we exercise outdoors, we certainly increase endorphins. And if we are able to walk in nature and or observe natural patterns, then we are able to create new neural pathways. So this practice of observing a flower links to one of the 5 ways to well-being, which is to notice. And I think this is the way, as it were, that is most closely linked to mindfulness. So noticing, observing and noticing is a really key part of mindfulness. So today's nature connection exercise is really about noticing. And whilst I've focused on observing a flower, this also applies to all the senses. So whether you notice an aroma or a sound, perhaps the birds, or a texture, it's just really important for us to keep noticing. And as we've just been thinking about, natural patterns are very closely linked to our natural ways of thinking, and the brain patterns that we create are generally